Hey everybody, welcome back to Wired to be Rich. Right now, as you are hearing this, I am in the Bahamas, y'all. Yes, I am sitting right in front of the ocean, sand up under my feet, the sun is on my skin, the weather is perfect, and honestly, I don't even care what day it is. I'm relaxed, I'm happy, but my brain still doesn't take a vacation. Even here, I'm thinking about life, about how I got to this point, and about something I've been saying forever, which is, don't tell me what to do. Sometimes I've said it jokingly. Sometimes I've said it and meant every word. And at some point, I realized it's not just a throwaway phrase. It's basically my operating system. This is how I move. If someone tells me what's not possible or what I shouldn't do, my brain automatically flips into, all right, now I'm definitely doing it. Not in a defiant, childish way. I'm not just running around doing things for shock value. I only move on something if I see a real benefit, whether it's going to give me a return on my time, grow my income, or make my life genuinely happier. And this isn't about being petty or chasing some big I told you so moment. It's about knowing myself well enough to trust that if I decide something matters, I can figure it out. What I've learned is that most of the time when someone tells you you can't, it has nothing to do with you. It's about them, their fears, their limits, their version of playing it safe. And I've just decided I'm not building my life around someone else's fears. That's how you end up living a life you didn't even choose. And I'm not doing that.
She's not just a podcast host. She's a movement.
Manda Lea is teaching people how to break cycles and build real wealth, mentally, financially, and spiritually.
People all over the world are waking up to her message.
Wired to be Rich isn't just a podcast. It's a mindset shift.
She makes you believe again in yourself, in your power, and your ability to actually have the life you always known was meant for you.
Hi everyone, I'm Manda Lea, entrepreneur, speaker, and founder of Balance and Destiny, and this is Wired to be Rich. For me, don't tell me what to do didn't start from an anger point or some need to rebel for the sake of it. Actually, it started because I figured out pretty early in life that if I listened to every single limit people tried to hand me, I'd still be standing in the exact same place they thought I should stay in. And that wasn't going to happen. People will throw their fears at you like they're doing you a favor. They'll tell you what's not realistic or what's too risky, but all they're really doing is giving you their personal ceiling. And if you're not intentional, you'll start carrying those ceilings around like they belong to you. I had to learn how to filter out all of that, how to separate my own beliefs from theirs. Anytime someone tried to put a line in the sand for me, I started asking myself one question. Is this actually impossible because I believe it's impossible, or is it just impossible in their head? And if the answer was that it was just them, then their limit had nothing to do with my actual capabilities. So I kept moving forward. I keep moving forward. No debating, no second guessing, just forward movement. And here's the thing. I don't keep moving just to prove somebody wrong. I'm not in the business of spending my time or my energy for ego points. Your ego will keep you broke if you don't learn to control it. So, if I'm going after something, it's because it offers me a return I care about. That return might be financial. It might be something that raises my quality of life. It might be something that grows my network, builds my skills, or gives me more peace of mind. But I don't move unless I know it is going to matter in a way that's tangible to me. So when people tell me not to do something, I don't hear stop. I hear filter this through your own criteria. And most of the time, their no doesn't even survive that filter. That's why don't tell me what to do stuck for me. It's not about being defiant. It's about protecting my vision and my ROI from people who can't see past their own. When someone tells me I can't do something, my first reaction isn't to get defensive or prove them wrong. It's to pause and think, why can't I? And I'm not saying that to sound dramatic. I genuinely check myself in that moment. What's actually in the way here? Is it because I don't have the skill yet? Okay, that's fixable. I can learn it. Is it because I don't have the resources right now? Then I can work on finding them. Is there an actual non-negotiable reason that makes it impossible? And honestly, 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. That's where I think a lot of us get tripped up. We hear you can't and take it at face value instead of asking whether it's even true for us. A lot of people need a very clear map before they'll move on something. They want a map that says start here, follow these steps, and then stop right here. They want the process to be neat, predictable, and wrapped in a bow before they'll even try. And if they don't see the exact plan in front of them, they'll label it too risky or not realistic. But I don't operate like that. I've never been motivated by a rigid outside benchmark that says, once you hit this point, you're done. I don't stop just because I reached some goal other people would consider enough. I stop when I feel like stopping. And until then, I keep going. I'll pivot if it makes sense. I'll slow down if I need to. I'll take a completely different route if that's the smarter move. But I'm still moving because the movement itself is what matters to me. I see life as something you can keep shaping and reshaping as many times as you want. There's no limits on reinvention. You can start fresh, pivot, or completely change direction as often as you decide to. And if there's something I really want, whether it's tied to my income, my freedom, my growth, or my peace, I'm going to find a way to make it happen, even if the timing isn't perfect or the path isn't fully clear yet. That's why I don't look at those obstacles as a sign it's over. They're not the end of the road. They're part of the road. Sometimes they slow you down. Sometimes they make you take the long way around. Sometimes they force you to stop and figure out a different approach. But they don't take you out of the game unless you let them. And for me, the only limit worth acknowledging is the one I chose to put on myself. And most of the time, I'm not putting one there. So if I wake up tomorrow and decide I want to take my life into a completely different direction, I believe I can. And I know some of you probably feel that way too, even if you don't always act on it. It's not because I think I'm untouchable or because I have some secret advantage. It's because I built trust with myself over time. I know that if I care about something enough, I can learn what I need to learn, stick with it through the hard parts, and figure it out piece by piece. And I want you to know, I wasn't always like that. I've had plenty of times where I've talked myself out of things before even trying, just because I didn't have the skill yet or I felt like I wasn't ready. The shift for me was realizing that readiness is something you build, not something you wait for. If I don't have the skill, I can learn it. If I don't have the resources, I can find them. And if I don't have the right setup, I can create one, even if it's messy at first. That's why I don't see new opportunities as risky in the way most people do. I'm not betting on circumstances. I'm betting on my ability to figure it out along the way. And I think that's a muscle anyone can build. You don't need to have all the answers before you start. You just need to care enough to keep going until you find them. I've learned that my limits are usually smaller in my head than they are in real life. And a lot of the you can't energy I've heard from others over the years was never about me. It was about what they believed was possible for themselves. And once you realize that, it's easier to stop carrying it. So when something comes up now, I ask myself, does this matter to me enough to put the time and energy in? If the answer is yes, I say yes. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's unfamiliar. And I hope that hearing this reminds you that you don't have to have it all figured out to start moving. You just have to start. For me, don't tell me what to do comes down to self-trust. It's not about being stubborn for the sake of it. It's about being able to look at my own life, my own goals, and decide what's right for me without being pulled off course by fear or by what makes other people comfortable. I've made choices that didn't make sense to most people at the time, and I get it. From the outside, they probably look too risky or unnecessary even. But every single one of those decisions ended up moving me forward, even if the results didn't show up right away. Sometimes it was big, obvious wins. Sometimes it was a lesson I didn't know I needed yet. Either way, it took me somewhere better. The more I practice choosing my own path, the easier it gets to tune out the background noise. Not because I've stopped caring what people think entirely. I'm human. So of course it crosses my mind, but because I've seen what happens when I follow my own version of myself and I follow my own vision versus when I try to fit into someone else's. My track record is clear. My way works better for me, and I think that's true for a lot of us. The challenge isn't figuring out what we want, it's having the courage to actually go after it, even if no one else gets it. And once you start doing that and see the payoff, it's a lot harder to go back to making decisions out of fear or convenience. Trust me. This is the mindset I live by. And it's the same one that's going to end up all over my book when I'm ready to write it. Because yes, I have decided that I am going to write a book. Not right now, but soon. But I didn't want to wait until then to talk about it because it's not just some nice idea to keep in your back pocket. It's something you can use every single day. At the end of the day, no one else gets to run your life for you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your partner, not your boss. You get to decide what's worth chasing. You get to decide what's possible for you. And the best part is that you also get to decide when you're done. That is yours and yours alone. No one can take that from you unless you hand it over. Everything else, all the opinions, the unsolicited advice, the people who quote unquote mean well but still project their own limits onto you, that's background noise, y'all. It's static. And you don't have to tune into it. So here's what I want you to think about after this episode. Where in your life are you still taking direction from someone who doesn't have to live with your results? Where are you still playing by the rules you didn't even write? And more importantly, what would it look like if you stopped? If something from today hit you, or if you have your own don't tell me what to do moment, I want to hear it. DM me, tag me, share it in your stories. I love y'all. I love seeing how you take these conversations and apply them to your own life. Because this isn't just my mindset, it can be yours too. And once you start living like this, you'll see how much easier it gets to tune out the noise and move in a way that's actually yours. So, y'all know the drill. As I told y'all, I am in the Bahamas and I'm enjoying myself on this wonderful trip. So, I'm going to leave this here so I can go back outside and go have some fun. But y'all, you already know. I will see y'all next week. Bye.